please. I got this stream working. My rage is at 0. Okay. Whew. Okay. Well, I'm calm now. At 0. Okay. That was the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Although I forgot to mute the sound for the computer. That was the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Okay, I think I've got the thing working. I believe. Okay. Let me not rage, because I might rage. This is fine. We're all fine. Don't you think so? Alright. So I've got the stream working. I'm going to play some Undertale music because I can. And it's really relaxing. It's really calm and it helps my stress! Alright.
Tra-la-la! Are you worried?
He traded his guns for love, but he's caught in the crossfire. And he keeps waking up, but it's not to the sound of birds. The tyranny, the violent streets, deprived of all that we're blessed with. And we can't get enough, no. Heaven, if you sent us down, so we could build a playground for the sinners to play as saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now. For every mother, every child, every brother that's caught in the crossfire, that's caught in the crossfire. I trade my luck to know why he's caught in the crossfire. And now I'm here waking up to the sun and the sound of birds. Society's anxiety deprives of all that we're blessed with. We just can't get enough, no. Heaven, if you sent us down, so we could build a playground for the sinners to play as saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now. For every mother, every child, every brother that's caught in the crossfire, that's caught in the crossfire. Can I trust what I'm given when faith still needs a gun? Whose ammunition justifies the wrong? And I can't see from the backseat, so I'm asking from above. Can I trust what I'm given, even when it cuts? So heaven, if you sent us down, so we can build a playground for the sinners to play as saints. You'd be so proud of what we made. I hope you got some beds around, 'cause you're the only refuge now. For every mother, every child, every brother that's caught in the crossfire. Caught in the crossfire. I say this without breaking? How can I say this without taking over? How can I put it down into words when it's almost too much for my soul alone? I loved and I loved and I lost you. I loved and I loved and I lost you. I loved and I loved and I lost you. And it hurts like hell. Yeah, it hurts like hell. I don't want them to know the secrets. I don't want them to know the way I loved you. I don't think they'd understand it, no. I don't think they. Everybody wants to know if we fucked on the bathroom sink, how your hands felt in my hair, if we were high on amphetamines. And everybody wants to hear how we chain smoked until 3, and how you laughed when you said my name, and how you gripped my hips so mean. We wrote a story in the fog on the windows that night, but the ending is the same every damn time. No, no, no. We wrote a story in the fog on the windows that night, but the ending is the same every damn time. They think I'm insane. They think my lover is strange, but I don't have to fucking tell them anything, anything. And I'm gonna write it all down, and I'm gonna sing it on stage, but I don't have to fucking tell you anything, anything. That's the beauty of a secret. You know you're supposed to keep it. That's the beauty of a secret. Oh, 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 oh. That's the beauty of a secret. You know you're supposed to keep it, but I don't have to fucking tell you anything, anything. Everybody's waiting up to hear if I dare speak your name, or put it deep beneath the track, like the hole you left in me. And everybody wants to know about how it felt to hear you scream. They know you walk.
Beware, beware, be skeptical. But the smiles so plated gold. Deceit so natural. But a wolf in sheep's clothing is more than a warning. Blah, blah, black sheep, have you any soul? No, sir, by the way, what the hell are mortals? Jack be nimble, Jack be quick. Jill's a little whore and her alibis are turning tricks. So could you tell me how you're sleeping easy, how you're only thinking of yourself? Show me how you justify telling all your lies like second nature. Listen, mark my words, one day you will pay, you will pay. Karma's gonna come collect your debt. Oh well, you stalk your prey with criminal mentality. You sink your teeth into the people you depend on, infecting everyone, you're quite the problem. B5 fall from better running high. I smell the blood of a petty little coward. Jack be lethal, Jack be slick. You'll believe you're lonely, dying in a filthy ditch. So could you tell me how you're sleeping easy, how you're only thinking of yourself? Show me how you justify telling all your lies like second nature. Listen, mark my Now let's not get overzealous here. You've always been a huge piece of shit. If I could kill you, I would. But it's frowned upon in all 50 states. Having said that, burn They're coming creeping from the corner, and all I know is that I don't feel safe. I feel the tapping on my shoulder. I turn around in an alarming state. But am I losing my mind? I really think so. Not a creature inside. What you don't know is that my breathing gets faster, and so does my heartbeat. I wish this was over. I wish that this was a dream, but I created a monster, a hell within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. I created a monster, a beast inside my brain, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, my mind impaired. Awake me from my nightmare. Wait, something doesn't feel right. No, something seems wrong. And I've been feeling this way for far too long. As my vision gets blurred, my skin's getting colder. Appearing young while I'm growing older. I collapse to the floor and scream, can anybody save me from myself? I created a monster, a hell within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. I created a monster, a beast inside my brain, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, my mind impaired. Awake me from my nightmare. Walking to the ledge, I find myself looking down, frozen still with fear. Now I'm plunging to the ground. If only I knew how to fly, then I can give it to myself. This isn't my time to die. Instead of rocketing faster and faster, I dive onto the floor. And when my body crashes to the pavement, I'm right back where I was before. I created a monster, a hell within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. I created a monster, a hell within my head, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, oh, I'm so scared. No, no, I created a monster, a beast inside my brain, nowhere to go. I'm out on my own, my mind impaired. Awake me from my nightmare. 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 Awake me from my nightmare.
It's not easy having yourself a good time. Greasing
Protect.
of puppeteers, but I've a nagging fear someone else is pulling out the strings. Something terrible is going down through the entire town, wreaking anarchy and all it brings. I can't sit idly, no, I can't move at all. I curse the name, the one behind it all. Discord, I'm howling at the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we do to make you take the world away? Discord, are we a prey alone, or are we just a stepping stone for taking back the throne? Discord, we won't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away. I'm fine with changing status quo, but not in letting go. Now the world is being torn apart, a terrible catastrophe played by a symphony. What a terrifying work of art. I can't sit idly, no, I can't move at all. I curse the name, the one behind it all. Discord, I'm howling at the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we do to make you take our world away? Discord, are we a prey alone, or are we just a stepping stone for taking back the throne? Discord, we won't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away. Discord, I'm howling at the moon and sleeping in the middle of a summer afternoon. Discord, whatever did we do to make you take our world away? Discord, are we a prey alone, or are we just a stepping stone for taking back the throne? Discord, we won't take it anymore, so take your tyranny away.
And it is from this world of darkness which come the evil, destructive forces of man's
You've got me shaking from the way you're talking. My heart is breaking, but there's no use crying. What a cyanide surprise you have there for my eyes. If I had common sense, I'd cut myself or go up and die. Sticks and stones could break my bones, but anything you say will only fuel my lungs. So mind us, we're just spilling our guts. If this is love, I don't want to be loved. You followed the road with the filthy tongue. Watch me choke it down so I can throw it up. So mind us, we're just spilling our guts. If this is love, I don't want to be hanging by the neck before rotting someday. If you could be the corpse, then I could be the killer. If I could be the devil, then you could be the sinner. If we could be the drugs, then I could be the dealer. Everything you said is like music to my ears. I could be the killer. I could be the devil. I could be the sinner. If you could be the drugs, then I could be the dealer. Everything you said is like music to my ears. So mind us, we're just spilling our guts. If this is love, I don't want to be loved. You followed the road with the filthy tongue. Watch me choke it down so I
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague, or a post on Facebook that all your friends will see.
You're a mess, tangled with your confidence. You think you're insane, well you're unstoppable. You are the impossible. Oh, I think you're better off looking alone, 'cause the boys that chase your hips can just go find their way home. And at the end of the day, you'll think to yourself, my body is a product being sold on a show. Tell me I can change, tell me I can change. Well, I know you're laying there, contemplating your own death. Well, just look at what you've done. Don't you dare forget the sun, love. Cold white walls keep you from your pad and pen. You just wanna step again. I can't believe it's half this hard. You never knew you might was die. No, I think you're better off looking alone, 'cause the boys that chase your hips can just go find their way home. You can dig so deep for scars. You never knew you might was die. Come on and breathe with me, oh, breathe with me, oh. Well, I know you're laying there, contemplating your own death. Well, just look at what you've done. Don't you dare forget the sun, love. You tell me so casually in everything I know. You look down on me, but not right on me. Did I break this broken heart? Dear diary, life is trying me. Can I get a sign, or a two of mine, for peace of mind? Can I get a sign? Can I get a sign? Well, I know you're laying there, contemplating your own death. Well, just look at what you've done. Don't you dare forget the sun, love. You down on me so casually in everything I know. You look down on me, but not right on me. Is it plain to see that life is trying me? Life is trying me. Life is trying. Can I think of something? Gotta think of something. They're gonna clean up your looks with all the lies in the books to make a citizen out of you. Because they sleep with a gun and keep an eye on you, son, so they can watch all the things you do. Because the drugs never work, they're gonna give you a smirk, 'cause they got methods of keeping you clean. They're gonna rip up your heads, your aspirations to shreds. Another cog in the murder machine. They said I'm teenage and scared, the living shit out of me. They could care less as long as someone will bleed. So talk in your post, I'll struck a violent post. Maybe it'll leave you alone when you're me. The boys and girls in the clique, the awful names
kid. But if you're troubled and hurt, what you got under your shirt will make them pay for the things that they did. They said, "Oh, teenagers scared the living shit out of me. They can care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe even leave you alone, but not me." Oh, yeah. Teenagers scared the living shit out of me. They can care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe even leave you alone, but not me. All together now. Teenagers scared the living shit out of me. They can care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe I'll leave you alone, but not me. Teenagers scared the living shit out of me. They can care less as long as someone will bleed. So darken your clothes, I'll strike a violent pose. Maybe I'll leave you alone, but not me.
Show me how to lie, you're getting better all the time. And turning all against one is an art that's hard to teach. Another clever word sets off an unsuspecting hurt. And as you step back in the line, a mob jumps to their feet. Now dance, fucker, dance, man, you never had a chance. And no one even knew it was really only you. And now you steal away. Take your bow today. Nice work you did. You're gonna go fuck it. With 1,000 eyes and a good day sky. Hit 'em right between the eyes. Hit 'em right between My heart was stolen. I said I got my heart stolen from a robber with some high heels on. Yeah, there's nothing I could do, I couldn't stop her from leading me on. Yeah, it's a love robbery. Yeah, it's a love robbery. Let's go. It's a love robbery. Yeah. Okay, the sun was setting, it was picture perfect when I met her. She had me thinking her and I was gonna be together forever. Wait, hold up, you thought this on the first date? Man, I know, it's like she got me hooked right away. I couldn't see it coming like a sucker punch. Took my heart, then she's out, that's a hit and run. It's like I'm at the police department, broken hearted, trying to figure out how it all started. 5'2" with some attitude, it's all good, cause honestly, I think it's kinda cute. Last seen in a little black dress, watch out for those eyes, cause she's armed and dangerous. Like bow, get you with that one shot. Hands up, she said, give me everything you got. Initial dip like it never even happened. She could kill with those looks, fatal attraction. Yeah, I said I got my heart stolen from a robber with some high heels on. Yeah, there's nothing I could do, I couldn't stop her from leading me on. Yeah, it's a love robbery. It's a love robbery. It's a love robbery. Yeah. Okay, we got a 211 in progress. Suspect is beautiful, wanted for heart theft. My baby on the run. Hold up, why did I call her that? She did me so wrong and I still feel like I want her back. Okay, I'm getting it back, matter of fact, I'm gonna write it all down in a rap sheet. Thought she loved me, now she just a love thief. I let her in, my heart was always open. Now I'm sitting here wondering how she could've stole it like a stick up. Then she pulled the trigger, she a red lipstick and some heels kinda killer. I got love struck, hit me good too. Do she love me not, I never knew. But that's just how it goes when you fall for a heartbreaker whose heart has been broken before. Scared to open the door, won't let nobody in. Yeah, but will she ever learn to love again? I said I got my heart stolen from a robber with some high heels on. Yeah, there's nothing I could do, I couldn't stop her from leading me on. Yeah, it's a love robbery. It's a love robbery. It's a love robbery. Yeah. My heart was stolen.
Time's been ticking, hearts are running. Think that Cupid's up to something. You ask me how I feel, I say nothing. But lately colors seem so bright, and the stars light up the night. My feet, they feel so light. I'm ignoring all the signs, I keep on fronting. Yeah, I stay bluffing. I keep you wondering, keep you hunting for my loving. But I crave us hugging. Yeah, I stay stubborn, cause I can't admit.
Sweet cinnamon and the frosted crunch you love, together at last.
Rain falls quickly, wetting my hair and clothes. My cries fall upon her deaf ears. More tears, wet me in, please. It's cold, I'm freezing out here. I miss you, my dear. You're all his, and I'm all yours, like it or not. I'm all you've got. Everyone will make mistakes. awake as the cold wind, slowly exploring the room where you sleep. The stare of your portrait, the passing of your scent, left me no choice but to stay. I will dissolve into the dark beneath your bed. My hands will wait for a taste of your skin. Sweet tangerine, or will you please come back to me? 'Cause I don't think that these feelings are gonna leave. Yeah, yeah. Sweet melody, you'll be singing in your sleep, but this time you're not listening to a word I say. A word I say.
I can swear, I can joke, I say what's on my mind. If I drink, if I smoke, I keep up with the guys, and you'll see me holding up my middle finger to the world. Fuck your ribbons and your pearls. 'Cause I'm not just a pretty girl, I'm more than just a picture. I'm a daughter and a sister. Sometimes it's hard for me to show that I'm more than just a rumor or a song on your computer. There's more to me than people know. Some days I'm broke, some days I'm rich, some days I'm nice, some days I can be a bitch. Some days I'm strong, some days I quit. I don't let it show, but I've been through some shit. I can swear, I can joke, I say what's on my mind. If I drink, if I smoke, I keep up with the guys, and you see me holding up my middle finger to the world. Like your ribbons and your pearls. 'Cause I'm not just a pretty girl, I'm more than just a number. I'm a hitter, I'm a lover. Sometimes it's hard for me to show that I'm more than just a title or a comment going viral. There's more to me than people know. Some days I'm broke, some days I'm rich, some days I'm nice, some days I can be a bitch. Some days I'm strong, some days I quit. I don't let it show, but I've been through some shit. I can swear, I can joke, I say what's on my mind. If I drink, if I smoke, I keep up with the guys, and you'll see me holding up my middle finger to the world. Like your ribbons and your pearls. 'Cause I'm not just a pretty girl, I'm not just a pretty girl. Yeah, I'm not just a pretty girl. No, I'm not just a pretty girl. I can swear, I can joke, I say what's on my mind. If I drink, if I smoke, I keep up with the guys, and you'll see me holding up my middle finger to the world. Fuck your ribbons and your pearls. 'Cause I'm not just a pretty girl, I'm not just a pretty girl. Yeah, I'm not just a pretty girl. No, I'm not just a pretty girl, I'm not just a pretty girl.
Quit acting like you're half dead. Tears can only half fill. How you feeling? Don't worry, be happy, baby. Stand up. Life was too damn short. That hug is taking right up. If you feel me, everybody's singing. Why? Please tell me, why do we worry? Why? Why do we worry at all? Why? Just tell me, why do we worry when worries never happen? Tell me why worry at all? Please tell me, why do we worry? Why do we worry at all? Just tell me, why do we worry when worries never happen? I'm not buying what they're selling, so if worries never happen, tell me why worry at all? Just give me a chance, she said as I packed my things. But I already did 4 times, don't you remember? I won't blow it again, she said with her fingers crossed. But she forgot about the mirror behind her. I'm done with plastic promises. Please don't tell me that we're fine. I got too much on my mind. Isn't this too plain to see? Maybe 'cause we've lost too much to gain. We were dancing in the rain. Tell me what am I to do with a double dose of you? A dose of you. Her lips are the gun, and her tongue are the bullets. And she could save a life, but she took mine away instead. And we gave it our all, so don't call me a quitter. No, and I swear I've tried too many times before, but I'm done with plastic promises. Please don't tell me that we're fine. I got too much on my mind. Isn't this too plain to see? Maybe 'cause we've lost too much to gain. We were dancing in the rain. Tell me what am I to do with a double dose of
When I was a kid, I hid my heart under the bed because my mother said if you're not careful, someday someone's gonna break it. Take it from me, under the bed is not a good hiding spot. I know because I've been shot down so many times I get altitude sickness just from standing up for myself. When I was a kid, I could fill a bookshelf with every different way they would tell me how not to play. They'd say it's time to start putting childish things away. And I was like, fuck you. This is Skeletor. But more and more they made me believe that our hearts are like door knocks, and that's where we get the sound of the beat. And I'll never get to meet the man inside me if I can't stand still long enough to be there. I'll never make it anywhere if I keep running away. I'll never know myself if all I ever do is play Nicky Nicky Nine Doors. They ask, don't you want to be a man? And when I was a kid, I wanted to be a man. I wanted a registered retirement savings plan that would keep me in candy long enough to make old age sweet. I wanted 2 left feet so I could dance circles around important issues until way past my bedtime. I'm not saying I don't have opinions, that others were less likely to argue if they were as tired as I was. Fatigue does to men what a goodnight kiss does to kids. It waits on our eyelids and returns us to a place where reason and imagination lace together shoes whose tongues stick out at stillness and beckon us to move forward. As a kid, I was always drawn toward moonlight, despite an armada of adults who insisted I must set my days according to sunlight. I would lay in bed and fight sleep, believing if I shut my eyes even for an instant, I would miss out on something amazing. Turns out I was right. I have seen stars stamped into the night like cookie-cutter designs, drew lines in between each one, inventing new constellations so that when somebody asked me, what's your sign? I could point to mine, the one hanging over the first door past the finish line, and say it's right there, the one marked exit. Because one day all this getting ahead bullshit will be over and people will start looking for me and I'll be there. I'll wear my best flashing red, and you will stand winner circle thoroughbred. I will unthread the screws that will put you throughout this life, then smile and say, you made it. When I was a kid, I traded in homework assignments for friendship, then gave each friend a late slip for never showing up on time, and in most cases, not at all. I gave myself a hall pass to get through each broken promise. And I remember this plan born out of frustration from a kid who kept calling me Yogi, then pointed to my tummy and said, too many picnic baskets. Turns out it's not that hard to trick someone. And one day before class I said, yeah, you can copy my homework. And I gave him all the wrong answers that I'd written down the night before. He got his paper back expecting a near perfect score and couldn't believe it when he looked across the room at me and held up a 0. I know I didn't have to hold up my paper of 28 out of 30, but my satisfaction was complete when he looked at me puzzled, and I thought to myself, smarter than the average bear, motherfucker. When I was a kid, I slid love letters through the slots of lockers that belonged to my secret crushes. Built paintbrushes from the tiny hairs that stood on end every time I saw them. My brain stem finally blooming into thoughts. I connected dots and made masterpieces. Each brushstroke a thesis dedicated to the explanation that you, not knowing who I was only because anonymity made it easier to be brave. I dipped my brush into a tidal wave of I hope this will one day wash over me. I can guarantee, if you've ever had a secret admirer, it was someone very much like me who loved someone very much like you. It was someone who wanted to tell you how much you meant, how every second we spent thinking of you was simply the cost of getting us through the hard times. We saved nickels and dimes hoping our first date would be with you. Through the discipline of love, we gave up comic books and video games. I promise you, every guy I've ever met remembers the names of the ones they loved first, that our thirst for love continues as we cross the deserts of maybe, believing we will find an oasis of yes. We acquiesce. Yes, we probably should have just said something, but we were chicken shit. We lit the fuses of our hearts and exploded every time you walked on by. When I was a kid, I did stupid shit. Ripped the women's underwear section out of the Sears Christmas wish catalog and blamed it on my granddad. He did end up covering for me and had only this to say: you're only 12, so I'm impressed. But take it from experience, don't hide that under your mattress. So I didn't. I hid it in the empty box of a board game that I never used to play. I'm not the only kid who grew up this way. Surrounded by people who used to say that rhyme about sticks and stones. As if broken bones hurt more than the names we got called, and we got called them all. So we grew up believing no one would ever fall in love with us. That we'd be lonely forever. That we'd never meet someone to make us feel like the sun was something they built for us in their tool shed. So broken heartstrings bled the blues as we tried to empty ourselves so we would feel nothing. Don't tell me that hurts less than a broken bone. That an ingrown life is something surgeons can cut away. That there's no way for it to metastasize, it does. She was 8 years old. Our first day of grade 3 when she got called ugly. We both got moved to the back of class so we would stop getting bombarded by spitballs. But the school halls were a battleground where we found ourselves outnumbered day after wretched day. We used to stay inside for recess because outside was worse. Outside we'd have to rehearse running away or learn to stay still like statues, giving no clues that we were there in grade 5. They tipped a sign to the front of her desk that read, "Beware of dog." To this day, despite a loving husband, she doesn't think she's beautiful because of a birthmark that takes up a little less than half her face. Kids used to say she looks like a wrong answer that someone tried to erase but couldn't quite get the job done. And they'll never understand that she's raising 2 kids whose definition of beauty begins with the word mom. Because they see her heart before they see her skin. Because she's only ever always been amazing. He was a broken branch grafted onto a different family tree. Adopted. Not because his parents opted for a different destiny. He was 3 when it became a mixed drink of 1 part left alone and 2 parts tragedy. Started therapy in 8th grade. Had a personality made up of tests and pills. Lived like the uphills were mountains and the downhills were cliffs. 4/5 suicidal, a tidal wave of antidepressants, and an adolescence being called pauper. 1 part because of the pills, 99 parts because of the cruelty. He tried to kill himself in grade 10 when a kid who could still go home to mom and dad had the audacity to tell him, "Get over it." As if depression is something that can be remedied by any of the contents found in a first aid kit. To this day, he is a stick of TNT lit from both ends. Could describe to in detail the way the sky bends in the moments before it's about to fall. And despite an army of friends who all call him an inspiration, he remains a conversation piece between people who can't understand. Sometimes being drug-free has less to do with addiction and more to do with sanity. We weren't the only kids who grew up this way. To this day, kids are still being called names. The classics were "Hey Stupid," "Hey Spaz." Seems like every school has an arsenal of names getting updated every year. And if a kid breaks in a school and no one around chooses to hear, do they make a sound? Or they just background noise from a soundtrack stuck on repeat when people say things like kids can be cruel? Every school was a big top circus tent, and the pecking order went from acrobats to lion tamers, from clowns to carnies. All of these miles ahead of who we were freaks. Lobster claw boys and bearded ladies. Oddities juggling depression and loneliness, playing solitaire, spin the bottle, trying to kiss the wounded parts of ourselves and heal. But at night, while the others slept, we kept walking the tightrope. It was practice, and yes, some of us fell. But I want to tell them that all of this is just debris left over when we finally decide to smash all the things we thought we used to be. And if you can't see anything beautiful about yourself, get a better mirror. Look a little closer. Stare a little longer. Because there's something inside you that made you keep trying despite everyone who told you to quit. You built a cast around your broken heart and signed it yourself. You signed it. They were wrong. Because maybe you didn't belong to a group or a clique. Maybe they decided to pick you last for basketball or everything. Maybe you used to bring bruises and broken teeth to show and tell but never told. Because how can you hold your ground if everyone around you wants to bury you beneath it? You have to believe that they were wrong. They have to be wrong. Why else would we still be here? We grew up learning to cheer on the underdog because we see ourselves in them. We stem from a root planted in the belief that we are not Take for instance you. Take for instance me. Take for instance the fact that we were getting into trouble every other minute. Like the night you thought it would be cool to throw a chocolate bar into a hotel swimming pool, then point at it and yell, "Shit!" You said it was something you saw in a movie. No surprise, everyone in that pool was out instantly. And we accepted our lifetime ban from that hotel like men. Then rolled across town and checked into another, where you proceeded to seduce a single mother who was away on a business trip. Despite your best efforts, later that day she snubbed you, and you accepted it like forced retirement. Take for instance the day we spent the night like millionaires, needing to go bankrupt by sunrise. Take for instance the lies we told our parents like, no, that is not my sheet of LSD. I'm holding it for a friend. Take for instance the time you told me a heart can't break. It can only bend. Take for instance you. Take for instance me. Take for instance the word instantly, and how it used to be used to define things like mashed potatoes or coffee. But now somehow they use it to sum up your life, telling me that you died instantly. They said it as if there was a measure of comfort to be found in the fact that you were dead, that you said no long goodbyes or last words, just gone. Like a deadbeat dad who popped out for some cigarettes and didn't come back. Fact is, you were a different kind of gone altogether. Gone like the promises of lovers who believe in things like unicorns and forever. Gone as in never coming back. Gone as in your parents can't even bring themselves to go into your old room. You were gone like that. But they all said you died instantly. They said it as if in you is the grace to not linger like a tragedy in slow motion or a heartbreak set on pause. No slow cause of death for us all to deal with. They said it as if it was a relief. As if that's what you would have wanted. And I have seen machines push life into the bodies of people who would rather just go, and I know that's not something you would want. And I'm not saying that I knew you better than most, but I'm pretty sure you'd rather be alive. Like the night we decided to drive to the observatory. We camped under the stars and got drunk. One beer in, you sunk into nostalgia like a love seat tailor-made for your body. Listed from memory the top 20 girls you never kissed but always wanted to. Backwards, non-stop, 20 through 2. You stopped at number 1 and said her name as if once upon a time you almost did. We were alive that night. We watched the dark bleed into twilight. Watched the sunrise, write novels on the backs of shiny black beetles and blades of grass. We read the day cover to cover in one sitting. Clouds splitting like lovers lost in a shuffle of trust and jealousy. We read our favorite lines out loud. Yours was, "If my father is ever proud of me, it will mean that in some small measure I have lived better than him." Mine was, "If my life is the whim of a dreamer, let them awake and remember the grand idea that I am. The world's was let them stem from me. Let them be picked and pressed into diaries. Let them be the tangible memories of writers who could not scribe fictions greater than those based on the true story of their histories. Of course, the world didn't actually say that. We were really high. And for once, there was no because to the why. We spoke like liars, finally speaking truth. Each word a confessional booth where we recounted our sins, realizing the failures of our youth are what make up the beauty of our age. That every page turned cannot be rewritten, only reread. That every chapter we sped through needs to remain unedited, exposing our screw-ups like slips of the nipple on the evening news. We were never perfect, and we were only ever barely amazing. But I've been thinking about the word instantly and how you lived, instant to instant. Take, for instance, the night we met, when you wiped the rain out of your face like sweat and said, "It's not raining. It's just the weather trying to look busy." We decided right then and there the inventor of the umbrella was a pussy. 3 days later, you were sick in bed, reconsidered your position, then called me and said, maybe he was just wise. My heart is bending. I keep rereading the ending of your life, expecting the next chapter. I expect laughter as if it was always there. I unexpect your death so hard that part of me believes I can make it not true. You kept a rock on a satin pillow on your bookshelf and told me it's a star. You said you found it in a junkyard and it had been broken down for quite some time because too many people wished on it, and that's a lot of pressure for one little star. You are the smile I have kept secret, the Atari 8-bit hero of my youth. And at the funeral, your friends all looked at me as if to say, you're the writer. So what? I knew him only as well as he knew me. And when you told me he was gone, I missed him instantly.
We've been HostGator customers since we started in 2007, and we've always had great service.
I've been thinking about the word crush, and how you were my first, and how the worst thing that could have happened when you and I were 10 and made to work together on a grade 5 presentation about animals. I was so nervous. Without ever having met you, I began to reminisce about how you fell in love with me. It was your typical love story. School is attacked by zombie dinosaurs, and Shy Kid saves the day. I think about the way I was when I was younger, about how my hunger for acceptance drove me to cannibalize my fantasies of love into loneliness, believing everyone else would have to die just for you to love me. But in a role reversal I never expected, you fingertip drew halos around the heads of snow angels. You saved me. Alone together in the back of a library, we studied each animal's secret society and learned the use of the collective noun. Example, a murder of crows. God knows it sounds ominous, but this is how I learned about community. We have names for the groupings that occur even in the open ocean. A battery of barracuda, a shiver of sharks, a school of fish. And I pondered the philosophy, since barracudas and sharks are technically fish, wouldn't the term school of fish encapsulate them as well? Wasn't long before you went on to tell me that each term was in some way meant to suggest the nature of each beast. A destruction of wildcats, a crash of rhinoceroses. This is not meant to say that each animal is considered in some way deadly. There are those who sound downright lovely. A murmuration of starlings, a kindle of kittens, an exaltation of larks. Some are meant to sound industrious or prestigious, a parliament of owls, a labor of moles. But I feel for the outcasts, a smack of jellyfish, an implausibility of wildebeest, an apology of Canadians. You love the classification of cowardice of curs, believed this is where the term underdog stems from, that sometimes we become more than the definitions that are thrust upon us that we can bite back, that a pack of wolves is part of our ancestry, and the moment we embrace our history, we become a new destiny. We can rewrite a legacy because we are a storytelling of ravens. I began applying this concept to my life, arriving at the conclusion that dickheads congregate in groups. And I cannot describe the solemn pride that was mine when I arrived home with a report card that read, "Shane does not work well in groups." I told you this, and we both laughed. And maybe it was my happiness that gave me away, betrayed my position to the three boys who'd made a hobby out of making me cry. I still remember the impact from when they pushed me over in my chair, and you could have just sat there. I wouldn't have been angry. But instead you decided to teach me that assholes come in bunches. I learned this fact at the back of that library. You helped me up off the ground and turn around to tell my attackers, you guys are a bunch of assholes. We were 10. If you ever want to know how it feels to be saved, just let someone save you. Let someone rescue the smile drowning inside you. It's not too late, I swear. See, I once hid my heart inside of a hat and pulled out a rabbit that ran away just so I could say it was a vanishing act. Ta-da! But through you, I learned real magic is about making things come back. I know, because when a 10-year-old girl can go on to shock 3 bullies into silence, you know you have just determined your lifelong definition of beautiful, and all of the other wonderful instances in your existence will volunteer to dim their brilliance so that throughout your life this moment will shine brightest. You made the best snow angels. Laid them out in threes like paper dolls holding hands, and said it was because even 2 people can feel alone. I think at the time I would have destroyed the world just so I could be with you. I've grown up since then. But think often of a time when I placed a penny on top of a penny on top of a railroad track, then waited for a train to squish 1 coin into the other so I could give you a 2-cent piece because you were scared that someday they'd raise the price of 1-cent candy. These are the ways I loved you. You were the only one to give me a
time when I was alone, nowhere to go and no place to call home. My only friend was the man in the moon. Then one night as I closed my eyes, I saw it flying high. He came to me with the sweetest smile, told me he wanted to talk for a while. He said, Peter Pan, that's what they call me. I promise that you'll never be lonely. I am a lost boy from Neverland, usually hanging out with Peter Pan. And when we're bored we play in the woods, always on the run from Captain Hook. Run, run, lost boy, they say to me, away from all of reality. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. Neverland is home to lost boys like me, and lost boys like me are free. He sprinkled me in pixie dust and told me to believe, believe in him and believe in me. Together we will fly away in a cloud of green to your beautiful destiny. As we soared above the town that never loved me, I realized I finally had a family. Soon enough we reached Neverland. Peacefully my feet hit the sand and